Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm back today with another video. And before we get into it, this is a YouTube video, so I am legally obligated to ask you guys to like and subscribe. But now that we got that out of the way, let's get right into it. So I didn't really have the time to dive fully into all the games like I usually do. But believe me, when I was glued to the TV for Brooklyn and Dallas. Dallas being my favorite team, that's no secret. But this was a really good game for LUKA Doncic. And I don't know, it was crazy coming down to the end. But what I will say is that it kind of feels like Dallas is the Miami of the West. Every single game, it seems like they're in a close game. They're in clutch time at the end, and they're relying on LUKA to close it out for them. I think that could come back to bite them if they can't figure out how to put teams away earlier. But, you know, for now it's worked out. They're 2-0. But they really need to work on putting teams away earlier. All right, getting into it, one of the things that really stuck out to me going into the game was Dereck Lively getting the start at center. I was excited for that. I really liked what I saw in the first game against the Spurs, and he was getting the start here today. He only ended up playing around 17 minutes, which was kind of weird. He just didn't play at all in the second half, except for in the last couple seconds to guard an inbound pass. But it was kind of weird because I felt like he was pretty good in the time that he played. He finished with 9 points, 2 rebounds, and a block. It seemed like he was playing good defense when he was in there. I liked what I saw from him. He had a few nice dunks. I like what I see from Dereck Lively the second. I don't know if it's the second or junior because it says 2 after his name, but I'm not sure. But yeah, I don't know why they didn't put him back in, but I'm not complaining because we got to see Dwight Powell a little bit, who apparently is the 9th all-time. He's number 9 all-time in games played for the Mavericks, which is kind of cool. He actually went 4 for 4, hit a 3, had 11 points. And, you know, he had a nice little game. Maxi Kleber played solid defense when he's out there. Didn't really hit his shots, but that's fine. But yeah, the big draw for this game was LUKA, who finished with 49, 10 rebounds, and 7 assists, while committing no turnovers. That's really impressive. And, you know, at the end of the game, when it came down to it, LUKA was hitting step back 3 after step back 3. He was hitting them early in the game, too. And then to put the game away, he hit this, like, one-handed hook shot 3 off the glass. And I think LUKA is, like, one of the few players where no matter what shot he's putting up, it feels like it's not a terrible shot. Not necessarily that that's a good shot that he's going to hit all the time, but you feel like everything he throws up has at least a chance to go through the basket. But getting into some of the negatives for Dallas, I wouldn't say their defense was bad. It looked, you know, solid out there, but they were trading punches with the Nets pretty much the whole time. So they're going to either need to get better about scoring or better about holding their teams on defense. I think they need to get better at scoring because one of the things that really grinded my gears about yesterday's game was Kyrie Irving. Look, now I know that Kyrie Irving's going to get better. He's going to turn things around, or at least I hope he will, because if he doesn't, I might literally cry. But yesterday it was heightened because Kyrie Irving, like, look, jump shots aren't always going to fall. Your jump shot's not always going to be there. I get that. But he wasn't finishing at the basket. That's like Kyrie's thing, getting to the basket and finishing with all his angles and stuff. Like, but he just kept missing layups. I mean, he had a few, obviously. But it was just heightened yesterday because we were playing the Nets, who have Spencer Dinwiddie and Dorian Finney-Smith. Spencer Dinwiddie looked great in the first half, hit 6 threes. He was getting to the basket. He was throwing it down a little bit. He was creating for his teammates. Dorian Finney-Smith played solid as he always does. Played good defense, but he was guarding LUKA a lot of the time, so good defense doesn't matter. It's like if you're pitching to Tony Gwynn. Doesn't matter what you do, you know, they're going to hit it not out of the park. Tony Gwynn didn't hit home runs. That's baseball. Forget that. But yeah, it was just a tough game for Kyrie Irving. Hopefully he can turn it around. Tim Hardaway, he did a lot of things you like, but also he did Tim Hardaway things and missed a lot of shots. Now you might be saying, oh, Tim Hardaway went 6 for 7 and Kyrie also went 6 for 7. Now, yeah, that's true, but don't you expect a little bit more from Kyrie Irving? You don't expect Tim Hardaway kind of production from Kyrie Irving. Like, Tim Hardaway is the 6-man kind of guy who comes in and chucks shots. He'll take some good shots when your star's in there, get some open looks, but he's also going to take some bad shots when the star's not in. And, you know, you'll have mixed results on that. But Kyrie Irving is supposed to be one of your guys who is a reliable bucket, and he just hasn't seemed like that over these first 2 games. He turned it on a little bit in the fourth quarter against the Spurs, and it seemed like he was starting to turn it on a little bit in the fourth quarter of this game, but then he just didn't really. And Luka had to do all the heavy lifting when he came in. I don't like how long Jason Kidd waits to bring Luka in the fourth quarter. It was something I didn't like last year, and he still does it this year. He waits till like the 6-minute mark, and I mean, that's fine, but like, for how many close games Dallas plays, I wish Luka would play a little bit more in the fourth quarter, get him in maybe at the 8-minute mark as opposed to the 6-minute mark. But yeah, last season, you know, I had a lot of gripes about Jason Kidd's rotations, and this year it's hard to complain because they look good out there, but also Seth Curry, again, played under 10 minutes. He played a little bit more than he did in the first game, but, you know, it feels weird that we brought back Seth Curry. It feels like just to not play him. Jaden Hardy got a DNP. I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, it's tough to say who you'd take minutes away from, but I want to see Jaden Hardy get some minutes, you know? And also, this is just a smaller one, but the Nets were going pretty small today with Nicholas Claxton out. I don't know if I said Nicholas Claxton, but it felt like Richaun Holmes could have got some minutes to eat up some rebounds and points in the paint when Ben Simmons was out. But that's just a small thing, you know. I'm not going to blame him for not playing Richaun Holmes. I don't think you really need to play Richaun Holmes like that. But the Nets. I like what I saw from the Nets. I like what I saw from Dorian Finney-Smith and Spencer Dinwiddie. I already talked about them a little bit. Dennis Smith Jr. didn't have a strong game, and Mikal Bridges also didn't have a great game. He finished with 18, shooting 6 of 17. That's the magic number today, I guess. Yeah, as much as people have talked about this being like Mikal Bridges' team, which, you know, I think it still is, today it really looked like Ben Simmons, Cam Thomas, and Spencer Dinwiddie's team. You know, Cam Thomas is so good at putting the ball in the basket. He had 36 in their first game, and he had 30 again yesterday against Dallas. He finished with 37, 2, 1, and 1. That's a 1 steal and 1 block. So a really good game from Cam Thomas. You know, he's not the best defender, but he's so good on offense. And that was my phone falling. Sorry about that. But yeah, Cam Thomas is just really good. Ben Simmons finished with 10 points, 10 rebounds, 8 assists, 2 steals, and 2 blocks. Filling it up as you would want Ben Simmons to do. Shot the ball 8 times. He looked like he was moving pretty good out there. You know, I'm not going to get on him about this. I think that was a good game from Ben Simmons. Maybe he could shoot a little bit more. But, you know, when his teammates were firing away, you know, Cam Thomas, Spencer Dinwiddie, you know, they were hitting. And he was finding them the ball, and that's good. Lonnie Walker actually had a pretty good game after getting a DNP the first game. He played just over 20 minutes. Finished with 14 points, went 5 for 19. He looked a little shaky when he first came in, had some fouls, some turnovers, but he settled into it, and, you know, he had a lot of nice shots for the Nets down the stretch. But yeah, Royce O'Neal came alive in the fourth quarter, hit like 3 threes to, you know, have a shootout with Luka Doncic there at the end. But, you know, luckily Dallas was able to close it out, and, you know, there's not much to say about Dallas. I like what I saw other than Kyrie Irving not being Kyrie Irving. You know, is a tough watch, especially considering Spencer Dinwiddie and Dorian Finney-Smith on the other team. But yeah, I want to see Jaden Hardy get some minutes. I don't know when he will. Omex Prosper still hasn't made his NBA debut, and I don't know why Dereck Lively didn't play, but Dwight Powell and Max Kleber looked good out there when they did. The one positive I'll say about Kyrie Irving, he did out-rebound every single big on Dallas. You know, he finished with 7 rebounds. That's something that you can't take away from him. So, but that's pretty much it for that game. I like what I see from Dallas. These are the kind of games Dallas needs to win if they want to be, you know, really in there in the playoffs, if they want to avoid the play-in or even make the play-in. They didn't even make it last year. But, you know, the Nets, I think they're kind of a mid-tier team in the East. And I think they're a pretty good team. I think they're going to make the play-in, at least in the East. But these are the kind of games Dallas needs to win if they want to really be in there in the playoff picture. And so far they've done it. They put the Spurs away as they should, and they put Brooklyn away as they should. The one thing that gives me concern, though, is that both of these games were close games. You know, not that these are the bad, terrible, garbage teams of the league, but they're definitely not the best teams in the league either. So it's a little concerning that they're in close games with these teams. Hopefully Kyrie Irving turning it on can help kind of put those concerns to rest, and they'll be able to compete with the best teams in the league. Maybe not the best teams in the league, but, you know, I think Dallas should, ideally, they're like a step or two down from the top teams. Because when you have Luka, you know, the sky's the limit. That's pretty much it for Dallas and Brooklyn. I didn't have time to dive into all the other games like I usually do. I watched the Sacramento Golden State. I was rooting for Sacramento. I really like what they have going on there, but unfortunately they weren't able to close it out. You know, it's tough when, Steph Curry goes 7 for 10 from 3. But De'Aaron Fox, jeez, he did a good job, you know, trying to match it. He hit, 5 or 6 threes on 9 attempts. You know, De'Aaron Fox looked really good out there. Sabonis was grabbing a lot of rebounds. And let me look at the box score a little bit real quick. Yeah, Klay Thompson had a solid game, 7 for 12. Andrew Wiggins was whatever. Kevon Looney. But yeah, Steph Curry, 41 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 7 for 10 from 3. You know, it's tough to win when Steph Curry's doing that. But, you know, when you have your own kind of version of Steph Curry, 39, 4 and 4 from De'Aaron Fox, 5 for 9 from 3. You know, De'Aaron Fox put in his best effort, and, you know, they just couldn't really close it out. Sasha Vezenkov with a nice little 10 points. I like the firepower he brings off the bench. Keegan Murray missed a lot of threes. Not his best game. I think he'll bounce back. Nothing to really worry about. Harrison Barnes looked good early, but didn't really do much down the stretch of the game. Yeah, you know, not much to say. JaVale McGee. I think JaVale McGee just looks so good no matter where he plays, except when he played in Dallas. I don't know. Chris Duarte, I like the pickup for the Kings, but he didn't have a good game. And Sabonis, there he is. I was looking for Sabonis, couldn't find him. 18 boards, 19 points. I think the one criticism you can have of Sabonis is that he's taking more threes, which I think is good. You know, but he didn't hit any. And, you know, going 0 for 2 from 3, it's hard to complain about that. You know, it's going to happen. But yeah, if Sabonis continues to take threes and can hit them at a relatively respectable rate, I think that'll be a big help for the Kings. And at the end of the day, it's the Warriors, you know, 4-time champions. Yeah. You know, they're gonna find a way to win a lot of games. I don't think there's anything to panic about too much here for the Kings. Obviously, it would have been nice to get this win, get some payback for last year's playoffs. And that is a little concerning for the Kings. They didn't even have Draymond Green, and they didn't get the win. So that is a little concerning, but, you know, Steph Curry turned it on, and, you know, it's going to happen. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have today. Going into it, you know, there's a few more games on today. Let's look at the slate of games that we got going into today. Jazz Suns, hopefully the Suns have their people back. Honestly, I'm not seeing too many games I'm that interested in. Knicks, Pelicans, Cavs, Pacers, Heat, Timberwolves. You know, I'm definitely going to, you know, watch some of it, but these aren't the most exciting games today. But I'm definitely going to tune in a little bit. And I'll be back. I'll see you guys later. Leave what you thought about Dallas or Brooklyn or really any other teams down in the comments below. And I'll catch you guys later. Peace.